Um,
Sure.
Hi, this is Joanne with Creative Writing Study Group. I am here with CJ Ellisson. She has published over 20 books, excuse me, over 20 books, and she has been on the New York Times bestseller list as well as USA Today. Currently, as I understand it, you are working with writers to help them with their writing adventures. Did I get that right?
Yeah, definitely. It really became I guess a personal passion where I was trying to find a planner that would fit my needs. And for a lot of writers, and just everyone in general, we have this phrase called like you're forever searching for planner peace, because it seems as if like no matter what planner you get, it starts out like, oh, this is terrific. It's going to solve all my problems for organization. And then you start to realize it can't handle what I really need. If I need something for my family life, it's almost like it has to be separate. And then you need something for your work. What happens if you're doing multiple books? All of a sudden, everything that you have, every type of planner you get is designed to work on one large project. We're going to help you break it down, like all these different systems, all these different methods. It's maybe made for you to be able to succeed in one thing only. But what if you have multiple books? What if you have multiple projects? So I started designing something that would work with multiple projects and trying to be able to balance different timelines for every different job. And that's how me helping other writers came into play, because once I started to develop something for myself, other writers jumped on board and said, can I take a look at it? Can I see it? And I thought like, well, it's really just for me. There's no directions with it. And I'd send it to people. And then I decided like, well, maybe I should make these.
Are those the ones on that are posted for sale? The Plot Your Work? Is that the
There's
book?
Plot Your Work, there's Plot Your Book, there's Plot Your Health. There's a lot of different ones. So it's been my focus, I'd say, for the past 4 years now. So that it has kind of snowballed. Plot Your Work also went into Plot Your Health.
Mm-hmm.
I have some friends with some chronic health conditions, and because I also went through chronic health conditions, I knew what they needed to track, and I helped out with designing trackers and doctor visit logs and just treatment logs and all sorts of things for you to be able to have it handy. And then from that, recently in January, we came out with Plot Your Book. And that was because so many writers would say to me, well, I really like your concepts, but I'm a pantser. I'm not a plotter. And I think that I was like, what? Does no one understand what this thing is?
You know what? I got to say, this is my complaint about people who say I'm a pantser, not a plotter. Go ahead. For me, you have your own way of being inspired. Okay, I get that. But don't tell me planners are not pantsters, because you are always a pantster in a sense, because when you create that background, that structure before the outline and everything, you have to create that just like you creating when you're pantstering. So that's my argument against pantstering, people who say I'm more creative as a pantster.
Yeah, and I think to myself, like, it might work.
I'm not creative.
Books, but some people stall after a while. You always have to change things. But the big thing was people misunderstood what Plot Your Work was all about. It was a way for you to plot all of your writing tasks, everything you had to do. Editing, revising, cover design, or even if you're working traditional, all the things that you had to do traditionally. There were so many tasks involved with promotion and marketing, and is my backlist on sale, and how am I, how am I positioning my product in the market? All of these things. So
all of that is in the Plot Your Work. Plot Your Work.
Plot Your Work. Yeah. So that was the idea. I was
plot your story and then plot your work.
Plot Your Book and plot your book.
Okay, so it's 2 books.
It's 2 separate concepts. One was started so that you could plot all the work that was involved, all the tasks that were involved. So when I had people that would say, I'm more smart, I'm not a plotter, I thought to myself, like, you're not getting it. This is about plotting your book. This is plotting your work. I just happened to use a play on words because we're writers. So,
right.
It's like,
I just wanted to be clear, because when you were saying it sounds more organizational to have it as 2 books rather than, 1 book. Although having it as 1 book, I guess you can separate it. Anyway.
I found it was harder. Like if you wanted your creative notes and your character sketches to side by side with your marketing plan, that was a little bit awkward. So, the joke eventually became like, no, it's not plotting your book, it's plotting your work. But then here the joke is on us, because I decided to create a plotting book in January. And all of our tools are very, how can I explain this? They're blank. They're made to be customizable tools for the writer. I did not want to train somebody on how to change their existing process to fit some system that was really complicated. I wanted to make a tool that could be flexible with every approach, so that if I talk to you about, have you done your cover research? Have you gone through and done your genre comparison to see where your cover lines up with all the other covers that are out there?
Wow.
Sell, and you look at me with a blank face like, well, I don't ever do that, then that's not something I need to go into detail with in this book. So what I've done—
I want to mention here, because I read your background, and you have a strong marketing and sales background. So I say this because she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So the point was, I hated buying all these workbooks that had a bunch of fill in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
And if I found that this section didn't apply to me, then it was all wasted pages because it wasn't something I was going to do. There's a lot of people that when they make their marketing books, they have things like, have you worked out what your target audience is? Have you figured out your target reader so that you can make sure your advertising goes to that target reader? And I agree with that concept, but if I don't want to do that with this marketing campaign, then all of those exercises are fruitless, that they're a wasted space in the book. So I wanted people to be able to cull all of the different processes that they are using through the years, or even something new that they're starting. Maybe they've gone through 5 different marketing books. Maybe they've read a whole bunch of blogs, and they've decided, I've got all this knowledge and I want to take 5 from this, 2 from this, 3 from this, and I want to then make my own marketing plan that's going to work best for my genre based on the research that I've done. But how can you have a book specifically for someone who has gone through 7 different approaches? Right. So this idea was, you can take your approach, you can take whatever works for you, and I'm going to create an area for you to organize it all, for you to actually decide, what do I want to do? How do I want to approach it? And where can I map it all out? But I'm not going to tell you how it has to be done. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you who's your target reader. I'm not going to make you map out your genre comparison for your covers. It has to be what you want to do. Right. And we all come about it differently.
Right. And I guess you help guide them through when they hire you, that you help them guide them through that process as well. Because I do mentorship, on the side, and some of what I've seen is they mainly want someone who they're accountable to.
Right. It's more of accountability.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the confusion, but I no longer do services where I'm helping.
Oh, okay.
I used to do something called the author coach, where I had a whole class where I would walk people through social media marketing.
Oh, and, okay.
They would have homework assignments and I would work one-on-one with them. I do mentor writers, but I mentor writers on the creative aspect and how to work within their book. I don't mentor people on how to do their job as far as promotion and marketing for their exact genre and for their book.
Then is your book self-explanatory, or is it because you had said originally that you were giving them these blank sheets to fill out, but it sounded like you needed to understand how it needs to be filled out, even though it's also open?
In the beginning, I didn't really have instructions, but yes, once I decided to actually market it and trademark it and develop a whole company around it and a website, yes, it has instructions with it. So it explains to you the concepts of how to use it, but it does not lay out a marketing plan for you. It does not tell you how to promote or cross-promote or how to run your newsletter list. There's a lot of business tips throughout the whole thing. Every single week, there's a different business tip and there's a different writing quote to keep you inspired, or perseverance quote. But the actual laying out of your work, that's on you. Okay. You have to think about, like, if you're planning a marketing plan and you actually take a marketing class, there might be a skeleton, an outline that tells you, okay, these are and I'm going to make numbers up, these are the 12 to 15 things you should focus on. But as you read through them, you as the author, as the writer, who knows your audience, who knows the niche of your product, needs to be the one to decide, which of these 12 to 15 am I going to focus on? So I don't teach anyone how to market their book. I give them a tool that enables them to organize all of their marketing stuff.
Oh, I like that idea too. Because that's one of the biggest issues that authors have, whether they take the traditional or self-publishing route. Because even the traditional, I think this is a misnomer. In the traditional route, you have to market as well.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to check out part 2 of the interview, where CJ Ellisson talks more about how she wrote over 20 books in a 6-year period. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.